SmackDown teased and hinted at a lot of new story directions. So we'll see what's new for Ronda Rousey, changes for MMM, a big potential return, and much more. Let's start things off with Ronda Rousey. Summerslam marked the beginning of a new era for Ronda Rousey. Before Summerslam, Ronda's character was a very one-dimensional, typical babyface character. But thanks to legitimately getting screwed over by Liv Morgan and the referee, Ronda developed into this anti-hero character. At first, everyone thought SummerSlam was a heel turn for Ronda Rousey, but she has been booked sort of like a tweener in the weeks that followed. So that's why we're giving her that label of being an anti-hero. She's not the same babyface character she was for the beginning of 2022, but she's not fully blown heel either. So going up against WWE authority figures and just dominating everyone in her sight. So she's still getting massively cheered. This edge that Ronda's added to her character since the events of SummerSlam has definitely brought her character back to life in a huge way. Ronda's new dominant anti-hero arc continued in the Fatal 5-Way match to determine the #1 contender for the SmackDown Women's title. The other 4 participants didn't really have much of a story or momentum going on in recent weeks. So Ronda Rousey was really the only winner that made sense, and that's exactly what happened. Ronda dominated the match and won the entire thing in order to book herself another date with Liv Morgan at Extreme Rules for the SmackDown Women's title. Although it makes sense storyline-wise for Ronda to get another opportunity since she was robbed at SummerSlam, fans are already feeling a bit mixed on seeing this match again because it basically presents the same narrative that we saw with SummerSlam. That same narrative being that Liv Morgan will not get a clean pin over Ronda Rousey. So how will this Extreme Rules match play out? Liv already rolled up on Ronda at Money in the Bank. Then Liv had that screwy pin over Ronda at SummerSlam. So not that many options left in order for Liv to sneak past Ronda Rousey again. So that's why fans feel like this story is right back to where it was heading into SummerSlam. Ronda will not be cleanly pinned by Liv Morgan. So what shenanigans will play out in the final moments of this match? Well, there's a couple of fan theories floating around involving some outside interference. The first being the return of Charlotte Flair. Charlotte hasn't been seen in months since WrestleMania Backlash, and the last time Charlotte was seen, she was getting beaten by Ronda for the SmackDown Women's title. So can Charlotte return at Extreme Rules to get a revenge on Ronda Rousey, while also putting the current champion Liv Morgan on notice? That's definitely a possibility. Charlotte probably helps Liv Morgan escape Ronda Rousey with a disqualification, but obviously with Charlotte being back, Liv's day as champion could be numbered by that point. So an epic return and beatdown on Ronda and Liv from Charlotte Flair could be in play. The other scenario involves Shayna Baszler. WWE teased on SmackDown that Shayna could play a role in Ronda versus Liv as well. Ronda's feeling very confident and cocky right now heading into this match with Liv Morgan. And it was Shayna who told her backstage to take Liv Morgan serious and be careful with her. Shayna's obviously speaking from experience because she was just cleanly pinned by Liv Morgan. So Shayna's basically telling Ronda that Liv is for real and not to overlook her. But Ronda doesn't pay much mind to Shayna's comment, but Ronda did sound like she was teasing the idea of linking up with Shayna in the future. Everyone has been waiting to see the tag team of Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. That's a duo that has women's tag team champions written all over them. So you can go either way with Ronda and Shayna's friendship. Maybe it continues to get stronger and they come after those women tag team titles. Or maybe they slowly start drifting apart in the upcoming months, and that'll lead towards a feud between the two of them. But no matter what route they go in, it does look like WWE is hinting at something happening soon between Ronda and Shayna. So it'll be interesting to see what happens after Extreme Rules. Will Liv Morgan still be champion? Will Ronda regain the title? Will Charlotte Flair return? or will Shayna get involved? A lot of potential routes to go in there for the SmackDown Women's title. A big potential teaser for the end of Max Dupri's character was just dropped by WWE. Max Dupri was obviously known in NXT as LA Knight. However, his character and persona fully changed when he was called up to the main roster. They had repackaged and renamed him to Max Dupri, this male model character that had his own modeling agency. They teased the gimmick and act for several weeks with SmackDown dark matches, and Vince McMahon and WWE liked what they saw, so they brought the act to SmackDown. They even created the character of Maxxine Dupri, who is the sister to Max. So they had this entire faction of their two models and in-ring talent, while Max and Maxxine sort of sit back in the managing role. But ever since Triple H took over, the fans had assumed he would eventually put MMM to rest and bring LA Knight back. So that's what fans have been waiting for over the last few weeks, and we were finally given the teaser of Max potentially reverting to his old former persona. It all comes from a WWE digital clip that shows Maxxine and the rest of MMM looking down and out following their loss on SmackDown. Max Dupri comes into frame and tries to lift up their spirits, telling them that they have to go through the day to get to the night. Max paused for a second while he was saying that line. It looked like something had clicked in his head. He softly said, "Yeah," and walked off screen to end that bonus backstage segment. So the way he took that long pause in between the sentence to say night, fans just feel like it was the first sign of confirmation that LA Knight character will return following the fallout of MMM. So if LA Knight does eventually come back, what will happen with MMM? Well, the good thing is that Maxxine is there, so you can let LA Knight do his own thing and still possibly keep Maxxine around to lead MMM. We haven't heard or seen much from Maxxine's character, but it does look like she enjoys scouting talent. So even after Max Dupri is gone, maybe Maxxine will really step up to the plate in her brother's absence and try her best to keep the agency going and scout for more talent. Maybe she brings in more men and even more women to her version of MMM. It'll be a good way to keep her around and let her get even more experiences as well. Or if Triple H really doesn't plan on going anywhere with MMM, maybe Maxxine and the rest of the MMM members will be repackaged as well. It's gonna be strange though to the casual fans because these characters were introduced as brother and sister, and now they could potentially be getting new names and different characters. It may get a bit confusing there for some fans, but hopefully the story makes the character changes make sense. So we'll have to wait and see on that, but big changes could be coming to the MMM faction. But what are your thoughts on today's stories with Ronda Rousey becoming the new #1 contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship and all the potential changes coming to MMM? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.